Hello and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton.
I'm Charlie Neff.
And we are live on YouTube.
Woo woo! Happy Friday!
Every morning around 7:30, sometimes a few minutes late. We are live on YouTube and we're taking your comments, your questions, your trolls of us or whatever. Just interact with us and we will read out and respond to you at the end of each episode.
Woo woo!
Today, we'll give you more details in the tragic passing of Liam Payne. There's a lot more context around that day.
Yes.
We'll talk about the Beckham boys, Victoria and David's sons, have new love interests and some people are scratching their heads over them.
All about Cruz Beckham, who is still a teen, but dating a cougar?
Kind of a cougar-ish. And finally, we'll talk about Kim Zolciak. Her divorce from Kroy Biermann is lasting forever, and it's just like getting messier and stranger.
Nastier. And now she's saying he's spying on her.
Right, okay. To begin with, though, Liam Payne, he died a couple days ago, and now we're learning other situations surrounding him at this time. So obviously he was going through something in Argentina that day. He was clearly out of his mind in one way or another.
And we were told from people that saw him in the lobby moments before he tragically died that he was acting erratic. He had smashed his laptop. He had to be carried to his room. We know that hotel employees had called the police, worried that he was on what they say either under the influence of drugs or alcohol. And you know, he said in the past he's had issues with prescription medication. He's had issues with alcohol in the past, but it's just so sad to see all this kind of, you know, getting all this information of what led to the tragic death.
Well, now we're learning that Liam was dropped by his record label just days before his death. Super sad, and obviously this would be very stressful for Liam because he was axed by his label, and then so his second solo album was then, you know, put on hold. So all of his dreams, you know, obviously he was like one of the biggest pop stars in the world when he was with One Direction. Then they all go and do this solo stuff to varying degrees of success. But I guess Liam's solo career wasn't working out as well as the other boys.
Yeah, and so he had signed a deal with Capitol Records in July 2016. He launched that solo career. But, you know, we're being told that he was axed by the label and his second album was put on hold. He did have a hit from his first album, but like you mentioned, didn't have the solo success like Harry Styles or even Zayn. Zayn Malik had a pretty big solo career as well.
That'd really, get to a guy like Liam, I think, especially because
you're comparing yourself.
And also
to your bandmates.
He compared himself on that sort of infamous Logan Paul podcast where he kind of dissed his bandmates.
Right.
In dissing them, he was like giving himself a pat on the back for basically being the best. He says, "I was the founding member of One Direction. I'm selling more records than they are solo," and so that was a big story, and it was really bad for him and his reputation and stuff like that. And now we're learning that he was doing worse than them, you know, in these final days. And so his record label was leaving him. And also his PR team resigned early in October. So professionally he was struggling and personally he was struggling.
But also if you think like, why would his PR team drop out? Well, let's reflect on why he's been in the news this past month before his tragic death, which was he was going through kind of this public battle between him and his ex-girlfriend, Maya Henry, or ex-fiance actually. And you know, there's reports that she had sent him a cease and desist just like a week ago. So she had wrote a book that she claimed was like loosely based on her time with dating Liam. So that was kind of getting a little nasty.
Yeah.
But look, at the same time, like, yes, we know all these things. He was dropped by his label, his PR team. He was going through like kind of this nasty, I don't even want to say breakup because they've already been broken up for some time. And he had already moved on. He was dating another girl, Kate Cassidy. So even though we know all this stuff behind the scenes, publicly, or I guess social media wise, he looked very happy, like posting videos, photos in Argentina. He was staying at some estancia, some ranch that was in Argentina before he ended up at Casa Sur in Buenos Aires. And he had been posting with his girlfriend, like loving life. It looked like a great time. Like he was obviously out there to see Niall Horan's concert. So he looked still friendly with some of his bandmates. It just, that last final day, just what happened, what really triggered this, and possibly all these other things that we know about.
Well, we know for sure that just before his death, he was smashing up his laptop in the lobby.
Right.
And crazily enough, there are photos of him sitting on the couch on his laptop, at 4:30 p.m. So the cops were called a bit after 5. There are pictures of him on his laptop that he smashed at 4:30, which is crazy to have, that image. But I don't know what he read on there, or he was obviously in many facets of his life right now. He was struggling, and it wasn't just one, it was many, and he already had addiction issues. Just such a sad story, but kind of like somewhat preventable if you can, with mental health and addiction, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And his girlfriend wasn't with him. It's unclear if he was alone, but it appeared like he was staying at the hotel alone because, like we mentioned, Kate, his girlfriend, was with him on the Argentina trip. She was there for like 2 weeks with him.
Why did she leave?
She left 2 days before all this happened. She didn't exactly say why, other than, I've been there way too long. I was only supposed to be there 6 days. 6 days turned into 2 weeks. In her video going to the airport, she even joked like, Liam, you have my neck pillow. I'm going to need to buy a new one now, like stuff like that. So it's unclear if they had some kind of argument, but it seemed like they ended on good terms.
The One Direction fellas are tweeting and commenting about the sad passing. Niall, who Liam was in Argentina to see perform, posted that how devastated he is and how he can't believe that hugging him just a few days ago was going to be the last time he ever sees him. You'd feel almost, I don't know if it's guilt or he was in Argentina to see Niall. So Niall's,
that definitely makes you sick to your stomach to reflect on your last moments with that person.
Harry Styles say the greatest joy was making other people happy. He was wide open, heart on his sleeve. He was warm, supportive, incredibly loving. Louis Tomlinson, he's lost a brother. Liam was somebody he looked up to every day, a positive, funny, kind soul. And Zayn expressed his sadness too in an Instagram story with a photo of the two of them together napping together on a One Direction. Happier days.
Very sad.
On to our next story. Cruz Beckham is...
He's the youngest of the Beckham boys, right?
Yeah, he's 19.
Mm-hmm.
He is dating a Brazilian singer, Jackie Apostel, who turns 29 today. So happy birthday to Jackie.
Happy birthday, Jackie.
He's dating 10 years, someone 10 years older than him, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
I feel like if you're like 60 and 50, like I feel like there's not really that big of a difference. But when you're 19 and 29, I feel like, just maturity-wise, there is like a very big gap.
I would have thought so, yeah. And people are also commenting that this Jackie Apostel, she looks a bit like...
Victoria.
She looks like Posh Spice. She looks like Posh Spice, people are saying. But yeah, I mean, we didn't know much about these two boys' love life. Cruz and Romeo. Romeo, who's 22 and has just gone public with his romance with photographer Grace Sorrenti, who's a bit more age appropriate. She's just 1 year older than him. She's 23. But we didn't know about, these guys much. We haven't seen them that much. They're famous because of their parents, but they haven't charted their own course that much. I feel like now they're both going public with their romances. These guys are going to become very ever-present in our lives, I reckon.
I feel like they already are.
Really?
Yes, definitely. Cruz, I can tell you, he's a singer. He was trying to be like the next Justin Bieber. The other one, Romeo, he did have a girlfriend that he was like spotted out on vacation photos. But I also am a diehard Victoria Beckham fan. So I'm like very into like her and her family. By the way, fun fact, when Victoria Beckham and David got married, What color did they wear to their wedding?
Don't care, but probably black.
No. Purple. They
That was my
wore
next guess.
matching purple outfits to their wedding. How eclectic.
That is lame. And also lame that you know
wore
that.
hats. You and Aaron wore hats.
Yeah, what could be cooler than wearing hats in Nashville?
Fedoras.
They weren't fedoras. They were like wide brim, well made. They were not fedoras. On the record.
That was cute too. That was cute.
Okay, on to our next story.
Yes.
Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann.
Are you just sick of these two? I am so sick of them.
I'm confused. I had to look it up. She filed for divorce
Yeah.
May 2023.
Yes. It's been a long time and it just gets nastier and nastier.
So I don't know why they're not divorced yet, but these guys, I don't know why they don't have a reality show running right now because it's judges' orders that they stay separated. Kim's got the basement.
Separated, but in the same house.
Right. You're right. Exactly.
Yes.
Kim's got the basement. Kroy's got the master. But now Kim is accusing Kroy of coming down to her basement and sitting in her closet, spying on her from her closet. And on one of these such occasions, he fell asleep. He was there so long, he fell asleep in her closet. And she says she's got photos of him asleep in her closet.
Oh, my God.
What is going on? She said that she sets up cameras in her room because she's worried Kroy is going to come and like snoop. And apparently he steals things, she says.
Why doesn't she put a lock on her door?
That could be an easier way to solve it.
It'd be a very easy fix if you're worrying about like, you know, the little snoring bear coming and sleeping in your room. Just put a lock.
I feel like she probably loves the drama in some sort of way. But I don't know. They have been getting divorced for a year and a half.
Yes.
They've been calling the cops on each other like every month or so. Probably a bit less than that, but a lot. Why are they still living together in the same house?
I don't think they could afford to live separate.
But they're getting divorced, so they're going to have to figure it out eventually.
I know, but neither one of them wants to take the hit. They have no money.
Are they going to end up back together?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean,
at one point she did say they were still having chaka every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
Maybe they just can't quit each other.
Can't quit.
All right, let's read out some of these comments you guys have been leaving while we've been doing the episode. A Candy Cat said,
Candy Cat. I love that. I love candy and I love cats.
Some of us wanted to see One Direction get back together and have a reunion. We never thought it'd take place at a funeral.
It's very, very sad.
That's true, actually. The boys will get back together at the funeral, but
it's very eye-opening, I think, for the boy band community, too. Like, I saw Backstreet Boys posted, and you got to wonder for, like, bands like NSYNC that haven't had a reunion yet and fans want one. Like, I'm curious if what happened to One Direction is going to kind of encourage NSYNC to maybe get together before it's too late.
Like, we never know how long we have. Let's just do it.
Totally.
Bezo says it's scary because we don't know what other artists might be going through at the same time. I agree. I think there's probably a lot of rock stars, pop stars who are rich and famous, living the life, partying every day.
To live the life.
Appearing to live the life, exactly.
But I wouldn't say that's only rock stars and famous people. I would say that's everyday people too. You go on Instagram, you might compare yourself to, you know, so-and-so, whatever, like that you follow, and it looks like she's living the dream, but in reality, she's sad.
Right. Six, a user named Six, says that the Cruz Beckham situation is gross, but Wendy, on the other hand, says, who cares? 19, 29, who cares? It's only 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's working for them.
It seems to be. Kim Zolciak, the story there, Wendy says that Kim and Kroy are both nuts. They're poor children. And Stella says, I love them, actually. I'm jealous of Kroy. Jealous of Kroy. Wow. Is Stella a man name or a woman name?
I just feel like Stellar can be like, not a girl's name. Maybe just like, oh, Stellar Universe.
Stellar Universe. Well, thank you guys very much for leaving those comments. We appreciate it. Every morning around 7:30, we're going to go live. We would love it if you guys would come and watch and listen to us and leave your comments. We want to interact with people who listen to the podcast a bit more.
And we're loving it, too. It's been so much fun connecting with you guys. And, you know, hopefully you guys can join us again on Monday and let's chat.
That didn't sound very tempting. Let's chat. I was like, okay, pass.
Does it sound like phone sex?
I don't think you got the voice for that, actually, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Oh, stop. Maybe we'll get more listeners now, actually. Keep going. All right, Charlie, thanks for joining. Thanks for...
I thought you were saying thank you to yourself for a second. Thank you, Charlie.
And we'll see you guys here next week.
Have a great weekend.